This video will explain how we can understand the concept of truth in predicate logic statements. So the most important difference between propositional logic and predicate logic is how we assign truth values to the smallest pieces of the statements. In propositional logic, the smallest pieces of the statements are the simple statements, and in predicate logic, the smallest pieces of the statements are the predicates. Well, in propositional logic, assigning truth values to the simple statements is straightforward, because they are themselves statements and thus have a truth value. It makes sense to say A is true or A is false. However, in predicates, it doesn't make any sense to say CX is false or CX is true. Predicates are not true in and of themselves. Rather, they are true of things. For example, if CX stands for X is a cat, then there are things that it is true of, namely all the things that are actually cats, and there are things that it is false of, all the things that are not cats. So it is true of my cat Fiona that she is a cat, so the statement CF would be true, but I am sadly not a cat, and thus the statement CK is false. We will use the term extension to describe the semantic contribution of predicates. The extension of a predicate is the set of things it is true of. For example, if we have the predicate PX is a person, we will generally take its extension to be the set of all people. We combine this idea of an extension with the idea of a model, and we can say that the predicate PX has an extension in the model. When we have used the predicate PX to stand for X as a person, we could use the actual world as our model, and then ask whether PX is true of various things in the actual world. For example, the statement Karen is a person is true in the actual world, but the statement Fiona is a person is not, where Fiona refers to my cat Fiona and not to some other actual person in the world named Fiona. To use a more complex example, consider the statement no people have tails. This statement is true if and only if for every person in the world none of them have tails. Since this is sadly the case, this statement is true. However, it would very quickly get cumbersome and difficult, if not impossible, to check the truth value of all of our statements using the real world as our model. After all it takes is one lucky human being to be born with a tail to make the above statement, no people have tails, false. And maybe I just haven't met that lucky person yet. Am I supposed to go around to all of the people in the world and check and see if they have a tail? That would be crazy. So we're going to instead talk about truth in a model. So I will talk about that in the next video.